Hello, everyone. So happy to be here. Welcome to our great conversation. And today I have such a treat for you. So glad that you're here for another great interview that we're doing to bring you value, strategies, power, energy. And today I have someone special. He's a friend. He is a mentor. He's my coach, one of my coaches, and he's an amazing guy. And I can promise you, stay here because the amount of insight, wisdom, and energy he's going to bring to you is out of this world, and you deserve this. So, without any delay, here is the amazing Roberto Monaco. Hello, coach.
Coach V, thanks so much for the introduction. I want to give a virtual hug here, and everybody who is joining us now or later, another hug for you too as well. We Brazilians like to hug, so that's what we do.
We Brazilians love to hug. So, Coach, so excited to have you here with us. And I was so pumped to have one of my special person in my channel here that I sat down with my CEO, my also one amazing coach. I said, let's put some questions together that he can really bring the value and information for great agents, beginners, seasoned agents, if someone starting over. So all of you, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are doing presentations, and I know you are, if you are in sales, stay here because it's going to be awesome. And questions that you guys ask me all the time. So today I'm proud and grateful because everything I have, everything I am, everything I do is what I learn from my mentors, from my coach, from amazing people like Roberto. So Roberto, you ready?
I'm born ready, born
Wonderful.
ready,
So
born
let's go
ready.
ahead, do this, my friend. Introduce yourself. Give us a little bit of your background. How did you get started in the industry, and what led you to coaching, public speaking, and
I
the
love it.
storytelling?
A good question. So originally, like Vanda from Brazil, and in Brazil, my background, I work at the Banco do Brasil, which that back in the day was the biggest federal bank. There's 150,000 people. And Coach V, I was the guy. I used to do this move on my wrist like this. I used to have a watch, right? And I did it 10 times a day. Is it 5 o'clock yet? Is it 5 o'clock yet? Right? Because I hate my job. I used to hate my job. And I remember when I graduated from a BA in finance, I remember going back to work and I stopped in front of the bank and I asked this question: do I want to spend the rest of my year, the rest of my life, that 30, 40 years here? And because I started at 15, what that means with a 55, I would be retired.
Right.
And I had a huge no, I don't want to do it. And I remember going back to my mom and said, I'm quitting the job at the bank. My mom was like, you're crazy. Nobody quits Banco do Brasil job. Like, I'm quitting. And she goes, what are you going to do? I say, I don't know, but here's what I want. She goes, what do you want? I said, I want to be like a soccer player or singer. And my mom jokingly said, you can't sing, you can't play soccer, right? And I never say, no, mom, but I want to feel like I'm made for something.
I love it.
I was talking about purpose without knowing I was talking about purpose.
So
So
true.
then I came to America. I got a couple of jobs in sales, and I remember getting applying for a job at Anthony Robbins companies to be a speaker for Tony. And they had one position, and I remember applying for the job. I went to my interview, and I remember that the sales manager said, "You know, Roberto, you seem to be like a nice guy, but I don't think that I can hire you because you have an accent." And then he was doing the takeaway on me.
Right?
And then I said, you know, Jim, I'm not gonna be your best speaker. I'm gonna be your number one guy. And he goes, okay.
Bingo.
And I spoke so much certainty. So I started my career with the Anthony Robbins. I have two jobs there. The first one, I was doing anywhere from 300 to 400 talks a year, and half of those were for real estate offices.
Exactly.
I've done probably 1,000 real estate offices, and then later on, after my struggles, I start training other speakers. And then after 6 amazing years in 2009, I opened up my company called InfluenceOlogy. And I have been in business on my own for 17 years, coaching over 50 industries. So that's a little
Amazing.
background. Yeah, there's a little background.
Amazing. And we're so excited for you to be here. I'm stoked for you to take the time, the energy, and put here your share here with everyone your energy and wisdom. So yeah, I know that you. By the way, everyone, please just know he was the #1 seller for Tony Robbins. And correct me if I'm wrong, Coach. You actually coached Tony's son in sales, didn't you?
Yeah.
So he is a man who was connected, part of the culture of one of the biggest speaker and salesperson in the world. So he has a lot of experience, and I can tell you just by my experience what I have learned from you, Roberto. So I'm so excited. Now let's go here and unpack that part. You said you had a lot of experience, right? Going to real estate offices, brokerage, and speaking to
A lot
agents,
of them.
right?
Yeah.
So tell us about a bit of the background working with real estate agents and why mastering storytelling is so critical, is so very vital for them specifically.
So I think let's talk about the two questions. One, my experience work with
The brokers.
the brokers, real estate agents. I always love it because I didn't have a entrepreneur background, but when I start working for Tony, start meeting entrepreneurs, I always admire and respect real estate agents because they were entrepreneurs, and with that freedom comes responsibility. And some
Right.
people use that freedom to really become entrepreneurs, and some that freedom becomes a problem because now they don't have and you teach that, Coach V, they don't have a system, they don't have a structure. They wake up at 9 o'clock, they show up at 10:30. You know what I mean? They don't have it.
Yeah.
So I
They're in their
realized
mind, right, Coach? They
their
are in
mind.
their head instead of their hearts. They are all in fear and worried, crazy beliefs.
Start dominating them. And I realized, and here's the pattern too. And I learned that work with Tony because you visit so many offices. I was visiting, I don't know, 150 offices a year. Let's call it. You see patterns, right? And so you go back in the day, Prudential, C21, Keller Williams, Remax, back in the day. This is 2000 into 2009. I know some of the companies disappear. Yeah, some of them disappear. But you see patterns. And here's a fascinating. Sometimes you walk in an office, then you interview the broker to customize the talk, and you have great conversations. And the broker said, look, we have the same brand, same split, same market, same houses, same procedures in the office, same back end, same market support. How is that? How is that you have guys and girls here, I don't know, producing X amount of houses here, and someone is here? What is the difference? But that pattern over in every single office, yeah, and you know that you know what it is, and it starts. Yeah, and I feel it starts with. That's why I love storytelling because people don't think that way. But every day, single day, you have a story you tell yourself, which is the most important one, right? That story you tell yourself. You have that story to tell one person, the buyer, the seller. And if you want some leverage, that's the story that you tell the community, the online, social media. So being able to master your story, to master the story you tell about your business to the masses is the same idea as influence. So I feel like I realize how powerful it is when someone clicks, change the story, change the belief system, change the fear, and they really unlock themselves. I was so powerful. And I know you teach that, Coach V. You have so many amazing clients. For those who don't know Coach V, if you're a real estate agent, you should connect with her because she's a powerhouse. I know today's not about her, but she's humble. That's your girl right there. That's your coach.
I appreciate that.
But I realized that was the thing, you know. So then I start my career. What I didn't tell you my story, Coach V. When I got a job with Tony Robbins, the first 6 months I struggled so much so that I remember one night specifically, I waking up 2 a.m. with this crazy pain in my body, crazy pain. And I called my roommate. At that time, we didn't have Uber. This is 2002. We call a cab. I go to the New Jersey ER. They ran all these scans. I spent 8 hours in the hospital. And by 10 a.m, the doctor said, hey, we just stressed out. And the reason...
You just stressed out? The doctor said, you don't have anything? Just stressed out?
And I'm like, doctor, no, there's physical pain. He goes, we didn't find anything. So we sent me back home, and I remember sitting on my apartment, my computer, just looking at the screen, and I'm like, I'm so stressed out in the hospital, and the reason stressed out is because my sales numbers sucked initially, like sucked. And then I had a huge breakthrough, is because back in the day, I like speaking, I didn't like selling. I like speaking, I like
Ah,
teaching, I didn't like influencing. That was me, the old me. And then I'm like, well, I gotta change that. So back in the day, this is 2002, I started buying DVDs, CDs, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins. Remember Tom Hopkins? Old
yes, I
school.
remember that.
And all those guys, they go, tell a story, tell a story. And I'm like, no, give him the close. And I want to be able to close people, right? And then I'm like, and they kept saying storytelling, Brian Tracy, storytelling. They always had a section storytelling. And then I had a huge breakthrough. The Tony Robbins organization sent me a 25-page script, which Tony himself wrote, which is an amazing script. But guess what? It didn't have my story. And now I'm going to companies, 300 to 400 a year talks, and I'm telling the script, but I personally didn't have one personal connection to the message. Number two, they didn't have a personal connection with me. So I'm like, do I have a story? Well, I think I do. So in the moment I start telling my story, I notice the connection. And I notice little by little, results go better. And then I noticed something special, and I went all in on the storytelling, hire coaches. I read every single book that you name out there. I have it. I read it, developed my system. So I can tell you for one thing, storytelling changed my life more than the, if there's one tool that I know for a fact. By the way, I work with 50 industries. Right before today, I was doing a
50.
webinar.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? He works with 50 industries.
Right before the call, I did the webinar for a bioscience company, public company, gigantic, right? They sell $500 million a year in sales, right? Selling stuff. And I was talking about what? Storytelling. Storytelling is not a real estate thing. It's not a mortgage thing. It's not a title thing. It's not public speaking. It's not a coaching thing. It's a communication thing. It's a human thing.
So
And the more AI, listen to me, if you want to get one thing today, get this. The more AI the society becomes, the more AI content, which by the way, everybody recognizes, nobody reads that. Yeah, it's easy, yes, but the crap, right? I'm sorry, Coach V, but the more important the story is going to become, right? So being able to be able to go internal and find the stories, find the experiences, and be able to communicate that with meaning is the thing. So if you're a real estate agent, if you're a seasoned agent, if you're starting out, you have to lead through stories. And stories, I realize that so many professionals, including realtors, they have stories, but nobody's telling them.
So true. Coach, I love that. So many things, and I was writing down here when you said my numbers sucked. I was so stressed out, and that's why I had pains. I created pains in my whole body. I was stressed out. The doctor said I had nothing, and I realized the stress was coming from fear and for being upset with my numbers because my numbers sucked. Who here can relate? Right? Who here can relate that your conversion, maybe you're not setting an appointment or you're not converting those appointments? Now, here's the thing that I heard you say. I had an awareness. I had a moment of epiphany.
100%.
I realized my results are not good. I'm sucking because I like teaching, I like talking, I like speaking, but I don't like selling. And
100%.
if you can influence people, what's good for them, if you can sell people that good for them, you got nothing, right, Coach?
100%. But you capture the point. One, the reason so stressed out, Coach V, is because for that job specifically, when you move from Brazil to here in America, that's a big thing, right?
Oh, yeah. I know it.
As you know. And then I made San Diego my second home. So I had my friends, So when I got a job as a speaker for Tony, I had to live on the road. So I didn't have a home. You have 5 boxes and the company ships around every 4 months. So I had to leave the second home now. I put everything in storage. I sold some stuff. Now I go to this job and now I'm sucking. And I was so afraid to be fired. That's why.
Yeah.
Because like I'm gonna be fired.
Fear.
the fear. And so that's one. Then I was smart enough to figure out and to be real, because until you look yourself in the mirror, right, you don't change. Most people they have a principle called illusory superiority, and we can check this online.
Illusion superiority.
Illusory
Illusory
superiority,
superiority.
right? If you
Tell
look
me
online,
more.
so you look online. So here's what I'll give you, right? And it's kind of funny. They ask drivers, right? 80% of the drivers, 86% of the drivers think they're better than the average, which is impossible. Only 50%. If the average is here, only 50% can be better, right? But
Right.
86% think I'm better than average. MBA teacher said, I'm like a 90. They believe they're like 90% better. Right? 90% of them think I'm better than average, which technically only 50% is better than average. What does that mean? People think they're better than they actually are.
So true. I know
Right?
that. We
Oh,
all think we're better than we
Coach
are.
V, I don't need to learn how to prospect. I'm a good prospector. Coach V, I don't need to learn how to do this presentation. I'm pretty good.
Right.
Right? It was like, I am glad, right, that I didn't let that principle run my life. In part because when I was working for Tony Robbins one day, I had this huge lesson. I was speaking for a mortgage company, and I remember I arrived, and I was looking for this office, and there's a guy in a parking lot smoking cigarettes, and obviously zero judgment here, overweight, right? Overweight, smoking cigarette, no big deal. I said, hey, sir, can you help me? Do you know what the company is? He goes, oh, it's upstairs. So I go upstairs and I start preparing for my meeting. And without knowing that the guy who was smoking cigarette worked for the company. So I didn't know. So I start my talk. And back in the day, I used to do that wheel of life. You know, the wheel of life when you rate yourself from 1 to 10 in your health, in your relationships,
Yes.
your money.
I've done that.
Right?
Cool.
And then he did that. And in the end, he came and talked to me. So the guy who's carrying a lot of extra weight, smoking cigarettes, rate himself a 9 on health. Look, I am not doctor. I'm not doctor, Coach V. But if you smoke cigarettes, you cannot be a 9 in your health. You know what I mean? So the point is that people think they're better than they are. And I realize, if I want to change, if I want to stop feeling that fear, uncertainty, anxiety that caused me to go to the hospital, I have to get real. And why? I like speaking, I like to teach, but I didn't like selling because I didn't know how. And I say, you know what? I'm gonna master. And the first thing that I was exposed to was this idea of business storytelling, which for me was just made so much sense for all the science behind it. And then I went all in. Now, do I believe in other tools, asking questions, listening, behavioral science? Yeah, of course. But one of the things that I feel every leader, entrepreneur, professional have to be able to master is be able to storyfy their messages, their business, for sure.
I love that. I love so many things what you said here, and it's so true. I tell a story myself. I remember actually my first listing, Roberto. I actually got it. And it's funny, I was brand new in the business. I bought some books about real estate, about 3 books, because I believe in education, as you know. I go all in. I know that when I get better, when I get stronger, when I get smarter, everything gets better, stronger, smarter. So when I decided to go in real estate, I bought 3 books and I devoured those books. And they said, do open house, go network, meet people to build your database, go door knock. Of course, I didn't even know how to door knock. That was BC, before coaching. Before real estate coaching. So I didn't know what to say. So I put on nice flyers and I went on my neighborhood because I told myself, I don't want anybody else sign in my neighborhood. I'm going to dominate this area here. This is my area. I'm going to become one of the best in the world. You know how I am. I'm very competitive. I love sports. I don't compete with others. I compete with myself. So I said, you know what? I don't half-ass. I want to be the best. So I'm going to learn. I'm going to study. So I put my flyers around my neighborhood, and this older lady called me on, and I went there, and I just kind of winged it all the way, nervous as could be, but I thought, you know what? I have energy, I have enthusiasm, and I'm going to help her no matter what. So I had so much certainty and energy and joy that I got the listing. But you know what? After that, I lost a lot of listings. I remember going to another listing appointment, 6 o'clock at night, so naive, so unprepared. I don't want to say, but I'll say a little bit stupid because I didn't know any better. I went there and I spent 2 hours with this lady trying to, wow her, try to do, of course, no structure, my listening presentation, nothing. And I didn't realize when I thought I went home, Roberto, I thought I did a fabulous job. I thought I was amazing. And she went with somebody else. So I spent 2 hours instead of 1 hour of power, value. I spent all this time trying to connect, but really didn't bring the value, display my expertise and build the trust because I didn't get the business. So I decided I'm gonna really learn this. So it makes me so happy to hear you say that because we all have that.
We all
Guys,
have.
all of you here in sales, in business, in real estate, rejection is feedback. Not getting the business is feedback. So what Roberto's saying here is he realized I gotta improve myself. If I want to be the best in sales and conversion influence, I gotta learn this. And that's what takes me actually to my next question, Coach.
Yep.
I wrote here, the listing presentation, as we are
Yep.
talking,
Yep.
is the agent biggest stage. Every agent here that listen here twice, my friend wants to get more listings, wants to convert more listings. They want to improve so they can help more people build the revenue that they want, right? So the listing presentation is for them the biggest stage, what they're gonna do. So what is the biggest mistake that you see a salesperson during the presentation making right now, and how can they use the storytelling to
Got it.
command the room instead?
Got it. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about big picture, then I'm gonna talk about small picture, give example.
Please,
All right?
love it.
The big-
Unpack it.
Let's go big picture. Have you ever been to a Broadway show?
Oh yeah, I love it. I love
Which
it.
one? Which one?
I've been to MJ, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Was fantastic.
Okay.
I've been so many. I've been to Cats. I've been to many beautiful Broadway shows.
All right. There's
And Cirque du Soleil too. I love the
Just all
shows.
that, right? So now, at one point, so usually those are a 2 hour performance, right? 2 hour
Right.
performance. Do you think they prepare?
Oh my God, like the devil. They
You
like
think they
every day.
rehearse? Do you think they rehearse?
Yes.
If you, this is for fun later on, I encourage everybody to go look around, go online and type it up, the Phantom of the Opera statistics, right? There's a website just devoted to that. And if you were to watch that, they have been running for 30 plus years, 30 plus countries, 30 plus languages, made billions of dollars, have hundreds of thousands of people play the show, and it's the same 2 hour talk. It's the same 2 hour performance, right? If I were to line up 1,000 agents here, 1,000, how many could look in my eyes and say, my listing presentation is prepare and rehearse just like a Broadway show? How many out of 1,000?
It's going to be the 1% that's dominating the market right now. Because I can tell some do because I did.
Yeah. There'll be the 1%, right? So the idea, so the before even we talk about the strategy, the overall, like if that's your stage, if that's how we make money, if that's like, man, that thing should be, the whole thing should be dissected, scripted, should be, you have stories, you should have the language, the questions, the pause, if you go this way, it's gonna go this way. If you go this way, it's gonna go this way. Not robotic, but just like a play.
Yeah.
And,
Hey, I
and
love
most
that.
and most of us, Coach V, we don't have the intensity.
No, we don't.
Right?
Coach, can I add something here?
Yeah.
By the way, don't forget, I want to know the small picture too.
Yeah, of
But
course.
what you say is so relatable. And can I say something to you that it sometimes break my heart? People, agents come to me, salespeople, entrepreneurs, because like you, I not only coach real estate agents, but energy mindset, and I have done also with other industries.
Yeah.
Hard to believe, but I coach people even in how to open and grow a business all the way in Hong Kong.
That's
in a
awesome.
different time
That's
zone,
awesome.
through zone. But when I ask them, I say, look, you want more listing, right? Yes. You want to have better conversion, right? Become effective so you win more, right? How many times are you recording? Like I said, recording, rehearsing, practicing. They don't do it. They don't see the value. They don't do it. And the thing is, I had to cry and say, I suck and I don't want to suck. I'm too proud, and I'm too hungry to win. So I recorded and I was role playing coach. I'm just saying this to you because I know it's not easy, but you got to make it happen.
No, it's not easy. No, it's not easy.
Yeah. With my two little kids, my husband at the time, my mom lived with me. We were broke, living a little 1,300 square feet home rented. And I said, I'm going to be the best. And my first year, I was role playing 7 times per week, 25 minutes, 25 minutes. Next day, 25 minutes. So I role play the objection handlers, I role play my objection. But here what it is, because that coachability coach, I love you for being who you are and for what we teach, because you help us also to think bigger, better, and be coachable. When you tell me do something, I don't say, well, I don't know if I like it. Let me think about it. I say how high, right? You tell me to do. And when I got my first real estate coach, he said, you got to master this. This is academy world level. You got to master this. So I recorded. I almost cried, coach. When the first time I saw my listing presentation, I broke my listing presentation, very pieces, and I recorded myself. I was horrible. I sound bad. But you know what? Kept practicing. I kept practicing. And then I did mock presentations. And then guess what, coach? I did a real one. I went to the seller and I said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, every day in every way, I'm looking to improve myself, improve the result for my clients and deliver the best result and experience. So I have a business coach who helps me. I have a lot of hunger, desire. So when I see my presentation, I can get better. Do you mind if I record our presentation? He was like, oh, you have a business coach? Oh, you want to record it? No, it's fine with us. So I recorded a real presentation for my real estate coach. And I sent it to him so he could critique. And guess what? I got the listing. So I know what you're talking about here in the big picture. Most agents, unfortunately, they wanted the money, the success, the rewards, and what, but many of them are not putting the time and energy, right, coach? Oh my goodness. Tell me about more.
This is so true. Yeah, we want something sexy and easy, and but that part there is no if you want to become really good at it at that particular talk, you have to become really good at it. And a lot of people they say, well, I done 500 of them, I don't need. Well, what if you've done 500 times wrong?
Oh, I like that. Yeah, right.
What if you've done 500 times and you make a mistake? Well, we have a lot of experience making a mistake. You know what I mean?
And you know what happened to you, coach? They don't retract the numbers, so they don't realize, okay, I went to 10 listing presentation this month. How many did I get? The top producers track the numbers. They know, well, I got 10 listing presentation. I got 8 out of it. I'm 80% converted, right? But some of them don't even know, and they are wigging. And oh, coach, this is so important. So tell us about now.
So I'm gonna go now. So the first thing that you gotta do is just commit to create your own Broadway show. You know what I mean?
Commit to Broadway to get your Oscar.
Yeah, get your Oscar. Get your Broadway show done. Get your play done. Now, in sales, the way I see sales about 5 beliefs. There's 5 beliefs.
Tell us.
If you want to write it down, number 1 is talk about beliefs around attention. Right? When you prospect someone, they're thinking, is this meeting worth my time? Right? Right? Because if it's not worth my time, why am I gonna meet up with you? Right? So is your communication when you're trying to set up a meeting? Are you providing value so that they believe they're not thinking like this? Oh, do I believe that if I meet they're just like, is it worth my time or not? But we have to create the belief system, right? So then let's say you open the door, close the door, you pass the one. Now you're in front of the client, right? The second belief is about trust. Do I trust this person? Do I trust this person as a guide? Now you can send so now the whole idea is building trust first. And there's a lot of things that you can do in terms of persuasion, not persuasion, persuasion. And persuasion, give you credit, comes from Dr. Robert Cialdini. He talks about what you do and say before the event shapes what happens during the event. Let me say again.
What you do before the event.
What you do and say before the event shapes what people do during the event.
Shapes what people do during the event. So that's the pre-frame that you always talked about, how to prepare them. Okay.
The pre-frame, what do you send before the listing? What kind of message do you send before you show up? Do you send a welcome video? Do you record a personal video to the client?
Yeah, I tell them to do that, but I don't know how many does it, coach.
Yeah. So you're persuading them, right? So now let's say persuading.
Persuading, love that. Okay.
Not persuading, persuasion, right?
Nice.
Then no. So now let's say I trust you as a guide. Now the third belief is, do I have a big enough problem and an urgent problem to solve? Because if there's no urgency, if the buyer or seller, they don't see they have a big enough problem to solve, are they going to move? They're not going to move.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it can motivate the unmotivated, right, coach?
So now we got to find a motivation. Then let's say you find a motivation. You're like, well, I'm motivated to sell my house, right? But that's one thing. Now the next belief is like, are you actually the person, a provider, right solution for me? Because I can trust you. Well, I trust her, I trust him, but do you have the right solution for me, right? And then the last belief. So belief number one is about attention. Is worth my time. The second belief is about trust. Do I trust you as a guide? The third belief is about urgency. Do I have a big and urgent problem to solve? The fourth belief is about solution confidence. Right? What you have to offer is actually going to help me. And the fifth decision is about decision safety. You see, most people unconsciously, the fear of make a change is bigger than the fear of staying here, even if I lose, right? So a lot of time, just the fear, because I don't want to be hurt. So the fear, even though my life sucks, that's why so many people stay stuck in their life, because the fear of making because if I take action, right, and doesn't turn out good, I can blame myself. But if I'm gonna stay here, I stay here.
I'm comfortable. I'm familiar.
I feel comfortable.
I'm in a comfortable zone. I don't have to get out there and get rejected and get fearful. Get people laugh at me.
100%. So when you reverse engineer your presentation, number one, are you telling your story to creating trust? Do you have a really good story that why you became an agent, right? Do you have a story, another story you can use to create urgency, about someone who missed a deal before? Do you have a story showing your process, right? Meaning not a lot of people, they say, oh, here's testimonials. I bought a house for Roberto the realtor, it's great. Now that's not story. That is a testimony. A testimony is not a story. A story has 7 elements. A story has context, has character, has a challenge, has conflict, has clarity, has change, has a call to action, right? So you got to be able to build. It's part of your script in your stories. Why you're a realtor? What happens if you don't take action? You're not putting fear. You just tell the truth. Have you ever had a client who missed an opportunity because they didn't act? I promise you have. Tell that story. Tell a success story about how you help someone using our system, right? So it's not like just one story. It's being able to, as you asking questions, as you're listening with empathy, as you're describing what you do, right? As you're describing, you go in and out of the presentation. Say, hey, let me give an example.
Right.
Story tell, and you come back to it. Right?
I love it. Coach, what you say is so powerful. Guys, I hope you stay here. Don't go anywhere. And by the way, before I even go further, share this with someone right now that you know that the presentation sucks or not improving. Because what Coach Roberto is talking here is what most agents, they come in and I'll say the word, it's not very pretty, but I'll say because it's strong enough to make an impact.
Oh, I know the word you're going to say.
They vomit.
Yeah.
They vomit data information, and the people get overwhelmed. They're like, oh, thank you, I'll call you later. So what we're talking about here is building that value in the eyes of the client, and you build the influence, you build the credibility, you build the authority is with a story, with analogy, with example. I tell them all the time, guys, the many reasons you don't get appointments, you talk to people, go to events, go places, you don't talk with people, and you don't get appointment. First of all, you don't have the intentional to set appointments because you're not aware that It's the appointment that conversion happens, that you can help someone and you get to sell something and make and build your revenue. So you don't have intention set appointment. The other one is most of you guys even don't even know how to stack the gold, the benefits of them meeting you. Like exactly what you say. You don't build the belief of value that they should meet you. Here's the value, the reasons you should meet me to help you, about them, not about you. And then you don't display your expertise and seed some things that can help them to see possibilities, to see the vision. And then you don't build trust because, again, you're not going over. And then, of course, you don't ask great questions. You don't go deep. Many of you guys are going shallow, so you don't really know if the client has a need or a want or a desire and how bad the need is. And we assuming, coach, they're assuming that everybody's motivated, everybody's ready. No, some people are going to do today, maybe 5 months from now, some people 3 years from now, some people never going to do anything. They're so bummed out by their beliefs. And then, of course, creating that trust, coach, building that credibility so strong by an analogy, by a story, but that they really believe, oh my God, I can't believe this person. I can't trust this person. She has the solution for me. So you guys missing that point. And of course, safety. She's going to take care of me. He's going to make sure everything's going to go okay. I love that. So those are the steps to really create that amazing, powerful presentation and really know what to do, right, coach? This is awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
For example, one of the story, a market insight story. If you claim to be the expert in San Diego, what is a market insight story that you can help someone? Not because you didn't buy only because buy and sell a house or whatever, but because you knew the market. How you communicate that? One thing is like, I know the market because I'm working for 20 years. This is just prove it. How do you prove it?
Exactly.
Well, tell the story about how specifically knowing the market, knowing
what does that mean, right, coach?
What does it mean? Yeah.
I have a great expression for that. You claim and you explain.
I love that.
You claim and explain, and the best way to explain is with story with analogy, right?
100%.
So we talk about the big mistakes. First of all, the agents don't practice and rehearse the Broadway show. And they are winging it. And of course, they are winging it. Some of them, unfortunately, not you guys. If you are listening here to me, you follow me, you are engaged, you are committed to your future. So I celebrate you. But you know, out of the 1.5 million salespeople in real estate out there, 1.5 million active, most of them are just winging and throwing the dice, but not you, because you're not going to practice on your client, right? You know that you got to show up in this Academy Awards presentation. So we know that. So they're not practicing. They are still in the limitation and they're not telling stories, and I tell them all the time, record your listing presentation. It has to be a beautiful listing presentation. You adjust and adapt to the moment, to the personality style, for the client, if they drive or expressive, you adapt. But it should be a flow. How many stories you tell? How many examples you tell? Can they see it? Because otherwise they cannot see it. So
I'll tell you. Let me say something.
Please.
Back what you're saying here, Coach V. If we all know that prospecting is key to have leads, to have an appointment, we all know that.
Prospecting is important. Lead generation, follow up, yes.
But let's have a heart-to-heart here. If your listing presentation is okay, and you know is okay, is
just good.
A good 6, 7. What is your level of inspiration to prospect, knowing the back of your mind, knowing deep down, well, yeah, I'm going to do all this work, get the lead, get the appointment, and I'm going to do this presentation, and it's going to be okay. By the way, that's not consciously, because consciously, you look your bank account like, man, I got to make money, right? Consciously, but unconsciously, if you really feel like, man, my presentation is not there, are you going to go all in prospecting?
No,
you're not going to go. I'm telling you, you're not going to go.
You're not going to go, and the energy is low. And then they don't show up strong. And then, of course, they don't practice. They don't rehearse. They don't show up strong. And then they get rejection. It goes, you see, it doesn't work. It's me. And they look for their belief to solidify the bullshit and the story they're telling themselves. Instead of 100%. Saying, hey, I just don't have repetition. Hey, I haven't mastered my... And now the opposite. Flip the coin, coach. Know you are kick-ass. How do you show up?
Oh, no. If you know, just like, look, I cannot wait. You should be, who should be when you have a good list presentation? You should be the horse. The horse in the gate. making the noise.
you go.
The horse is like, let me go, let me go. That's the energy we need to crush it. And by the way, here's the good news. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to take new license. You just need AI. What do you mean AI? You need to be all in. Not artificial intelligence, you need AI, all in. That's what we need. You need to be all in.
Coach, it's so good.
You need the AI.
Guys, stay here, more coming, and make sure you take notes because I love this. Look, the other thing is, as we're talking about this, right? How storytelling command the audience because you backed everything up with emotion because emotion, it was moves people, is not data. Data is just form. Data information informs, and what moves people, emotion, the motion to act, right? So with that, so good. I love when you said about the persuasion, because many of them, they don't even do consistently and valuable social media. They don't understand that. So many of them are terrified of doing videos or speaking in public. So what is your best advice for overcoming that fear, coach, and showing up with high energy, with intention and absolute confidence?
Love it. So the number one thing, I want to set the frame here. I've been doing this since 2002. The number one fear, in my perspective, that stop people from doing talks. By the way, realtors, you can get 1,000, maybe one is doing talks. So there's an amazing opportunity for you to do it. Right? So the number one fear, in my experience, is the fear of being judged. If I put myself out there, if I record the video today, I'm going to be judged. If I put myself out there, I'm going to be judged. And here's what I want to tell you. Right now, in your town, in your zip code, let's say you do farming 200 miles, right? Give and take. I'm telling you, there's thousands of potential buyers and sellers who are willing to work with you. They're willing to pay you, but guess what? They don't know you exist. And being unknown is a form of judgment. Now, it's not the worst form, it's a form. Oh, have you heard about the agent? Never heard. He or she is not that good because if he or she are really good, guess what? I would already have heard about him or her. So this idea of you not wanting to record a video, do a talk because you don't want to be judged is crazy. Why? Because you're already being judged.
Yeah.
If you speak, you're being judged. If you don't speak, you're going to be judged. You already are. If I record a video, some people want to judge you. If you don't record a video, they're going to judge you anyway because they don't know who you are. You're unknown.
No, so you're already losing, right? You're already losing.
He or she is not that good. Why? Because if they were really good, I saw the other realtors I know, but not that person. Right? So this idea. I hope that clicks today. Once that clicks, I'm already being judged. Yeah, you are.
All the time.
Because people don't know your services.
Yeah, when you don't show up,
when Coach V invite me here, right? I know some of you don't know who I am. And Coach V maybe say, hey, Roberto guy's a really good coach. You'd be like, never heard about him. I heard about Tony Robbins. Never heard about him. He's not that good. Because if you were really good, I would have heard about him. Now, so then I come here, first to hang out with Coach V. Number two, to change the perception. So now I'll be like, you went from unknown. You'll be like, hopefully today, like, okay, the guys has some good ideas. You see, it's me trying to change your perception. And that's the same thing that you have to do in your community to grow your business.
Exactly. Guys, I love that, Coach. Thank you so much for sharing this. Roberto, I always ask people to do videos and they resist and they're falling behind. And I said, what are you resisting? Put it down and then cross it because it's all story bullshit. Because the reality is you're doing a disservice, not showing up for your database and past client and with value email and also the video because everyone are in social media. They're watching the videos, they're watching the message. And if you're not showing up on social media, they don't know who you are. Like you said, you don't have credibility, you don't have authority. So who would you like to be the mayor of your town? Say me, right? Create the credibility. So I tell you this, look at us, Roberto, we both have a very strong accent from Brazil.
Who has accent?
Right? But and I always say your accent is your asset. Your
Yes, that's
accent
good.
makes you unforgettable
Yep.
and different. Now, if you don't know how to speak on the phone because
Yep.
you mumble up, because you don't open your mouth and
Yep. Yep.
you don't have enunciation, great pronunciation, and you don't not clear with your articulation, that's different. And you speak it too fast, but your accent is going to actually be an asset for you because people remember you. And the thing is, they always think it's easy. No, it's not easy, but it's worth it. Now, here's a funny story. It was 2013. I always tell myself, I'm bold, I'm innovative. I always tell myself who I am becoming as if already there, because I believe that I don't have to wait to be someone else. I can be right now. I can say I have a high energy, I'm focused, I'm smart, I have a great memory. So I'm always talking to myself, building myself up with a great programming, so I can really align everything I have with who I'm becoming, right? So when the videos, people start doing the videos in 2013, 2014, I started doing videos. And some of them was upside down. And my English was not 2013, guys, is a long time ago, right? So your English get better, your pronunciation, articulation, your pace, your speed, your tone, everything gets better in voice, right?
Yep.
So my point is, I did so many videos on my car, and people love that. Even though sometimes I made up a word, I said some crazy shit. And
Yeah.
my son Peter, who and Yvonne, who are great writers and Americans and
Yeah.
readers, Peter will go
Yeah.
like this. Oh, mom, you can't say that.
Well,
But
I
guess
have I
what?
have my
People
8-year
love
old
it.
doing that with me now.
People love it. And one of the most powerful real estate broker in the country, president of a big company here in the West Coast. Later on, he was interviewing me for his podcast. He invited me to go to his podcast. Big guy in real estate, big broker, very known. He said, the first thing he said when we start talking on the interview, he said, Vanda, I can never forget your videos. I love your videos. And you always go like this and you say something. And I'm like, oh my God, and I was making a mistake. But again, my point is, get out of your head, go full in gratitude and go share your story, your love, your passion, because people will believe you and you become genuine, right? Right, coach?
100%. I love that.
Yeah, and look at us, big accents, and we are making shit happen, helping people,
I love
right?
it. 100%.
So I love that. So we talk about overcoming fear, right? Being
Yeah.
prepared. We talk about what sales all about, and really doing the videos to create the credibility before you get there. What is working best right now in the world of influence? Give us one simple storytelling framework that an agent right now watching this, listening today, can implement immediately to close more deals, coach.
One storytelling framework. Um, I want to slow down here. I want you guys to think about your major claims, Ted, in your listing presentation, claims or points that you're presenting right now.
Yeah, by the way, coach, by the way, guys, this happens to your buyer's presentation, your listing presentation, you talk on the phone, try to set an appointment with a lead, and also when you're showing homes, everything you do. Go, coach. Sorry about
Right.
that.
So once you figure out the point you're trying to communicate, then I wanted to ask these questions, right? What's the point I'm trying to communicate here? What is an example of that? Right? What's the point I'm trying to communicate here? What is an example of that? The most powerful thing is in storytelling, you go inside your mind, because in your mind you have had thousands of stories that we're not using. So think in terms of storytelling, the best way to describe, I think in terms of moments. Think about a moment in time when this happened. And when you figure out this moment, okay, then to make the stories really powerful, the framework is what I call the 7 C's of storytelling, right? If
Go
you
ahead. I
write,
love that, coach. Keep going.
number one is going to have the context. You're going to tell a little bit about the background, right? You always, if you talk to a buyer, you talk about, I knew someone, you describe a buyer, right? If you talk to a seller, you talk about the context here, you talk about working with a seller. So the context, the situation, and the character. Now, it's very important when sometimes the character of story might be you, sometimes it might be a client, right? So in success stories, most likely it's going to be a client that you worked with in the past.
And
So we
coach,
have,
and if it's a horror story, if you wanted to emphasize a horror story because then the client doesn't do that.
Yeah.
You can also emphasize as someone who didn't do business with you.
Exactly. A prospective client. Very good.
Yeah.
Right. So we have the context, it has the situation, the character. And then the next thing is going to be the challenge. The challenge, another word for the challenge, the problem. And the problem could be indecision, could be credit, could be the limiting beliefs that the client had, could be the marketplace, whatever the problem.
Yeah, I should wait because the
I
war is
should
going
wait.
on now, and I don't know if I'm gonna have my job.
Right? So uncertainty could be the problem. And then so you have the context, you have the character, you have the challenge. Now, one area in storytelling that most people suck at it is the next one is called conflict. And the conflict, all it is conflict is, the conflict is a result of the character, the person, trying to dealing with the challenge. And then the conflict is that, let's say, for example, I am trying to sell my house. I have to move. I got a new job, but I don't have the time. But I want to do. I want to sell myself. I don't want to pay a commission. Right? So that is kind of like my situation. And then the conflict is me spending till 2 in the morning trying to learn stuff, getting messages and being uncertain about it, not knowing how to, wasting my time, wasting my energy, afraid of making mistakes. So a conflict is the result of a character, someone dealing with the problem. Does that make sense, Coach V?
Yeah, I understand. It's like you guys, you meet a seller who's trying to go for sale by owner.
Yes.
Okay, a seller is trying for sale by owner. So the context is he's trying to go for sale by owner, right?
Yeah.
And then the reasons, whatever reasons he has in his head to go for sale by owner, and then you have the context. So for sale by owner,
Yeah.
you know the client is a woman or a guy, why this, why that, they have all this fear, this. And the challenge is he or she they want to do themselves because they believe they need all the money. And the challenge is they need all the money to move to San Diego because San Diego is expensive. That's a challenge. And the conflict is, gosh, I don't sell home every day. I got to learn. That's going to take time. Well, how am I going to answer the calls when I'm on my regular work? And if they bring me an offer, how am I going to negotiate? So there's conflict, there's fear in the head, right, Coach?
100%, right? And then the next piece is the clarity moment. Is the clarity moment when that person who was about to sell the house, for example, in this case, match you in an event or match you on a networking, and then you're able to explain to the seller your value proposition, and the seller say, realize, you know what, I want to work with you, right? The aha moment of the client. Yeah. And then the change, for example, the next is like, you're never going to tell every single detail that happened in the story, but you want to tell a couple details, what you personally, for example, you did to help the client. Right? You give them like
evidence, right, Coach? Like a little story of evidence,
yeah.
How you made that happen, so they have clear evidence as you tell the story and you bring the emotion. Correct?
100%. It'd be like I have I have my social media. I post social media. I have 10,000 followers.
And you show,
we also did XYZ. We did XYZ. You kind of like highlighting the process, and then in the end, the call to action is the character transformation. Say, and not only now the guy who wants to sell by himself, not only I sold his house, I gave him peace of mind, but now he referred me 10 people already and saying that work with me was the best thing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he referred me 10 people already, and not only this, he net 10% more than he thought he was going to net selling by themselves. So look at this, everyone. Guys, is this amazing? Is it valuable? So listen to this. So we already talked about the context, the character, the challenge, the conflict. The clarity, like Coach Roberto said here, is the aha moment. Is the aha that you have that, wow, here I can really have the transformation. Mary Jo, or you, say your name, that person can really get what I want on my time frame, on my terms, save me time, energy, and stress. So that clarity, that's when they say, oh, I got to hire blank. And then they are willing to make the change. They're willing to Forget going for sale by owner and sign a contract with you and trust you because you build enough trust, value, and influence that they want to hire you. Now, the call to action is you got to close your beautiful presentation. You just show a beautiful story, right, coach? You create all the energy. Now you got to move them to the final step and to say, what does that mean for you, Mr. Buyer or Mr. Seller? Is I can do the same for you. I can get you the
100%.
highest price, help you to
100%.
net, save you time, energy, stress. And guess what happened to my client who went through this? He not only gave me a lot of referral, he's one of my biggest promoter, but also I did get the best result for him. Isn't it that what you want? Why don't
100%.
we go ahead and move
I
forward,
love that. I love
right?
that.
Right.
Thanks
So, coach,
for translating, Coach V, from my world to your world. So thank you so much. That was great.
exactly.
That was great. Coach V, I have a sharp 2 o'clock.
So, okay. So
Yeah,
very quickly, I know you have to go.
yeah.
So anything you want to say before we say goodbye to this amazing tribe?
Yeah, so the first thing I want to say that Coach V, I love you. You're an amazing coach.
Thank
Been
you.
working with you for many years. I know that your heart is in the right place of helping real estate agents and other professionals. You're a phenomenal coach. And if you're a real estate agent right now, you listen to us, reach out to Coach V. She
Oh, thank
will
you.
help you 100%. That's what I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else you want to add
No, that's it.
no,
No,
Coach,
we're
you are
good.
amazing. We appreciate you. We appreciate your energy and your power and your time to come here and give so many strategies. So everyone, I hope this was valuable. Make sure you subscribe here for our beautiful channel if you haven't done so yet, because this is how we help more people and grow and bring more value to the world. And share this with someone who needs today more strategies, more tactics, more energy. Thank you, Coach, and I
Thanks so
see you
much.
soon.
See you
Appreciate it.
soon.
Bye, everybody.